Alright, what's up guys? I'm Paku or Paku MMA, giving you my first YouTube video. A lot of people have been asking for my picks and my bets and stuff, so I thought I'd just record a video. Imported some graphics into this Google Docs and I've got my notes underneath. So yeah, I'll be giving you a full card prediction for UFC Mexico from the first prelim all the way to the main event. Alright, we'll start at this first fight here. We've got a featherweight bout between Erick Silva and Muhammad Naimov. Start with Erick Silva. Erick Silva is 36 years old, 5'10", fighting out of Venezuela. He's 9 wins and 2 losses to the submission. Silva is a tricky MMA grappler with an unorthodox striking style. With his okay striking, he comes with a grapple-heavy approach. Saying that, Silva makes a lot of mistakes in the grappling, going for guillotines that are clearly not there, and gives up positions on the ground. He showed bad cardio in the TJ Brown fight and got submitted fairly easily in the 3rd round. Over to Muhammad Naimov, 29 years old, 5'9", fighting out of Tajikistan. 10 wins and 2 losses by the decision. He's got great striking combinations and decent power. He uses a lot of tools and attacks with his kicks and punches at multiple levels. Got solid wrestling transitions and great pressure from top position. He's got good defensive submissions and very aware and calm on the ground. He doesn't move his head very well and his defensive striking needs some work. In his UFC debut against Mullarkey, he didn't look great and was losing the fight until he caught Mullarkey with the short 3-2 combination in close and won by TKO. Then he came back in his next fight with a great performance against the tough, durable, well-rounded Nathaniel Wood, which was very impressive. I like Naimov in this spot and I'm picking him to win. Even though minus 450 is very wide, it seems accurate and I could see him in some parlays. Alright, go to the next fight here. Got Felipe Dos Santos versus Victor Altamirano. This is a flyweight bout. We'll start off with Victor. Victor is a herky-jerky switch stance fighter with good movement. He's got good cardio and has a well-rounded MMA game. He uses his footwork well to create angles for his jab and nasty body kicks, but his big shots and spinning strikes can be easily telegraphed by his opponents. He's got decent forward pressure, but is fairly low output, and he's got bad takedown defense. I don't like his hand placement when he's getting backed up. His crazy head movements can get him caught by hooks and straight shots. He's coming off a loss by getting dominated by the veteran Tim Elliott for 3 rounds, where he did not have an answer for the wrestling and tricky grappling of Elliott. Next we got Felipe Dos Santos, 23 years old, 5'7", 7-1, with the 1 loss coming by decision. Felipe is a shooter box Thiago Lima fighter with a Charles Oliveira-like berserker Muay Thai style. Even though he makes mistakes, he is dangerous from everywhere and is not afraid to eat a shot to give one. He's a big flyweight and will use his length and height to throw a variety of strikes. Even though he's such a wild, risky striker, he is very clean in his kicking and striking techniques. Felipe can be hittable on the feet, but his cardio, durability, and heart makes him nearly impossible to finish, with his only loss coming from the number 6 ranked contender, Manel Kape. Felipe fought his UFC debut in Sydney, which I was there in that fight. Awesome atmosphere. Against a fast, powerful Kape, and showed a great performance by winning a round and making it a very close fight. I think this is a step down in terms of opponent for Felipe, and he should win this fight by finish or convincing decision, finding the bigger moments inside the cage. Right, going on to the next fight, we have a bantamweight fight. We got Dennis Bondar versus Ronaldo Rodriguez. Start with Rodriguez. Rodriguez is a low output, heavy-handed striker. He's got good timing in the striking when it comes to knees and boxing combinations. But from what I've seen watching his tape, he fights with emotion and gets angry inside the cage. That could affect his performances at this higher level. This will be Rodriguez's UFC debut, and I don't know if he'll be ready for this level yet. Alright, Dennis Bondar fighting out of Ukraine. He's 31 years old, 5'6", 14 wins and 4 losses. Bondar is a slugger that looks for big shots with looping strikes and kicks. His striking seems sloppy, and I would like to see him use straight shots and rangefinders more. He's got great BJJ with a variety of submissions, but he seems to like to throw down in the pocket and trade with little takedown attempts at the UFC level. He's coming off that weird technical decision where the headbutt put him to sleep in the last 5 seconds of the third round. He needs better IQ and decision making to have success against the better fighters at 125 pounds. I think this will be a low-level MMA fight, but it should be fun. Both of these guys are coming to scrap. I'll be picking Bondar to win this fight. He's the better mixed martial artist. The tape I watched on Rodriguez looked very low level. Apart from him finding the miracle shot, he has no ways to win this fight. I'm liking Bondar moneyline at even odds, and I might even be throwing some cash at it myself. Right, the next fight of the night, we have an interesting matchup between Fares Ziam versus Claudio Puelles. This is a lightweight fight. We'll start with Ziam. Ziam is 26 years old, 6 foot tall, with 14 wins and 4 losses. Ziam is a very good orthodox kickboxer at distance striking and picks his shots very well. He is a great counter striker with good footwork to create angles and win minutes. Ziam also has good high guard which keeps him safe from looping shots and hooks. Ziam will have the clear striking advantage in this fight, and if it stays on the feet, he should make it look easy. On to Claudio Puelles, fighting out of Peru, 27 years old, 5'11", 12 wins and 3 losses. Puelles is a BJJ specialist with the most knee bars in UFC history. He has a Muay Thai striking that you can see in the way he stands. His striking is below average for the UFC level, but he hardly ever uses it. He does whatever he can to get the fight to the ground using Imanari rolls and guard pulls. He's coming off that borderline embarrassing fight against my boy Dan Hooker, where he was rolling around and hunting for submissions. Dan Hooker played the perfect fight by staying patient and not engaging with him. Even in that performance, there was a moment where Puelles got onto a leg lock and actually popped Dan Hooker's knee. Dan's toughness shrugged it off and still dominated him. Puelles' style was almost like Ryan Hall. Might not be very entertaining to watch, but the speed and technique of his submissions are world class and can end the fight in an instant. I'm picking Puelles to win this fight because Ziam has very long lanky legs, and in a scramble it is likely that Puelles can snatch up a leg lock or other tricky submissions. It's a low confidence pick, but I could see some value in the Puelles submission prop. Saying that as well, out of his 4 losses, 3 are by submission, and you got Puelles, which is a nasty, nasty grappler, so I could see Puelles catching him. Next fight of the night, we have another flyweight bout between Edgar Chairez versus Daniel Da Silva, or Daniel Lacerda. First, we're going to start with Chairez. A lot of you aren't going to agree with me on this one. Chairez is a crisp, fast striker with good power in his hands and legs. He also has great defensive grappling with a vast variety of submissions that can end fights quick. He has good defensive boxing and moves his head well and has a tight high guard. Chairez will be the more well-rounded fighter in this matchup with more cardio and durability. He picks his shots very well and makes good decisions inside the cage. He lost his UFC debut against Taira, but he put out a really good fight in that fight. He had Taira in a deep guillotine at the end of the fight that almost finished her. Next we'll go on to Daniel Lacerda, 27 years old, 5'6", 11 and 5, fighting out of Chute Boxe, Diego Lima. Daniel Lacerda is another Chute Boxe Diego Lima prospect who comes with a kill or be killed mindset. He's 0-4-1 in the UFC and all by finish in the first and second round. He throws everything he has into the first round with flying and spinning attacks to try to put the lights out of his opponents quick. Because of his crazy style and striking defense, his striking defense is very bad and can be hit easily. When he gets touched, it usually ends the fight. He's done. His cardio reflects his style. Once the fight gets past the 5-minute mark, Lacerda really slows down and usually gets finished. This fight is a rematch of an early stoppage standing guillotine where Daniel was not out and the referee stopped the fight early. I think the betting odds are way, way, way wide for this fight, and I'm going to pick Lacerda by first round KO. At this stage of the game, Lacerda is fighting for his job and will definitely get cut if he loses. The first fight between these two was the first time we seen Lacerda fight a smart and composed fight. He was winning the fight, before the early stoppage, and a smart Lacerda is very live to catch Chairez early. I respect anyone picking Chairez, but be cautious about betting him because he could be the parlay buster of the card. Just crazy, crazy odds on Chairez. Like, just looking back on that Lacerda fight, the first fight, Lacerda was winning minutes at the start of that fight. I don't see 4-1 odds on that fight. I see some value on the Lacerda side. Okay, the next fight of the night is another flyweight bout. We've got Jesus Santos Aguilar versus Mateus Mendoza. First, we're going to start with Aguilar. He's 27 years old, 5'3" in height, 9 wins and 2 losses by the submission. Aguilar is a very short flyweight with only a 62-inch reach. Being that short, he pressures his opponents and generates a lot of power with his inside boxing and power shots. He has okay takedowns, but seems to make mistakes with his decision making and bad fight IQ. Even with his tiny arms, he has a nasty guillotine with 4 out of his 6 submissions being guillotines. He outworked and guillotined the Gas Ferreira on his Contender Series fight and almost had the guillotine early stages of the Taira fight, which I fucking swear, like, Taira's always getting guillotined and just survives. And then before getting triangled by the up-and-coming prospect Taira. Over to Mateus Mendonca. 25 years old, 5'5", 10 wins and 2 losses. Mendonca is a shoot-to-box Thiago Lima with a very explosive style. He actually has a very good technique with his punching, kicking, wrestling and grappling. He generates a lot of power and can end the fight with his wild striking techniques and his decent wrestling mixed in with great submissions. Because Mendonca is such a pressure fighter and brawler, his cardio starts to fade in the late stages of the fight. He looked good in the early stages of the Basharat fight, but I did not like the Nate Maness fight, where he was intent on getting leg locks and submissions and ended up getting pounded out bad. I'm picking Mendonca in this fight. I think he'll learn from the Nate Maness fight and use his kicks and lengths to find the first round KO. I'd be worried if this fight goes long, as Aguilar could start to take over late. Alright, on to the next fight. We have a bantamweight bout. We have Raoni Barcelos versus Christian Quinones. We're going to start with Quinones on this one. Quinones is he's 27 years old, 5'10", 18 wins with 4 losses. Quinones is a lengthy bantamweight, 5'10" with a 70-inch reach, and he knows how to use his reach well. He has clean boxing and uses jabs and straights to control distance and set up big power shots. He won his Contender Series fight and got a clean first round KO in his UFC debut in Paris. His slick boxing is a result of his bouncy, light-footed, where he seems to glide across the cage very fluently. In his last fight, he hurt Kang and chased and got caught and then submitted. I'd like to see him stay more patient when he gets hurt, when he hurts his opponents, and pick his shots to get the finish. Rushing in showed his inexperience at the high level. In that Kang fight, he hurt him and just rushed him with his chin up and got absolutely starched. It was bad fight IQ. On to the veteran, Raoni Barcelos, 36 years old, 5'7", 17 wins and 5 losses. Barcelos is a well-rounded veteran with little holes in his game. He's a 5-time Brazilian wrestling champion, and his wrestling sequences are elite. He prefers position over submission, which results in heavy ground and pound from top position. With his great durability, toughness, and power allows him to sit down in the pocket and trade a lot with these bantamweights. And he's not a guy you want to strike with in the red zone. His chin was unstoppable until the Omar put his lights out. A clean kick to punch combination. Then in his next fight against Phillips, he got wobbled a few times, which you don't like to see. In the Phillips fight, he managed to survive the slick striking, but still lost the decision in a 3-round war. It was a great fight. I'm still picking Barcelos to win this fight. I trust the chin holds out, and he can use leg kicks, power shots, and his wrestling game to win minutes and moments in this fight. The betting odds are a bit wide for my confidence level for this fight, though. I think this is a bit of a stay away fight, betting wise. Next fight of the night, we have a lightweight bout between Manuel Torres versus Chris Duncan. We're going to start with Chris Duncan here. He's 30 years old, 6 foot tall, 11 wins and 1 loss, fighting out of Scotland. Chris Duncan is a big, powerful lightweight with decent wrestling game. He has good kicking game and jab, but finds a lot of success with his uppercuts, straights and overhands with his powerful right hand out of orthodox. Training out of ATT, he has some great training partners in Grant Dawson and a lot of good lightweights there. He won his second Contender Series fight by first round KO after being finished by Slava Claus in his first try round. In his 2 UFC appearances, he has looked okay and showed good durability that he can go 3 hard rounds, whether it be striking or grappling. With the elevation in this Mexico card, that will help him if it goes late. If this goes long, Torres might be in big trouble. Alright, we'll go to Manuel Torres, fighting out of Mexico, 28 years old, 5'9", 14 losses, and 2 losses by the submission. Torres is another fighter out of Dana White's Contender Series, where he found his first round knockout in his Dana White fight. He is a fast, lanky power puncher with great Muay Thai techniques. He has very patient, plotting style where he feints and moves to find the power shots. Torres is a very efficient finisher with only 1 of his 14 wins going to the scorecards. I'm picking Torres to win this fight by first round KO. Watching a 37-year-old Omar Morales stunning Duncan on the feet, I think Torres will put his lights out violently. I'm not going to be betting heavy on this fight because if it goes long, Duncan could take over and show his cardio and wrestling game to win a 29-28 decision or even a finish late. Torres in the 3rd round, this could be a good live betting spot for Duncan. If Torres wins the first round but he starts to slow down and you see Duncan at that crazy price, you could live bet Duncan and he could win the decision. But yeah, Torres first round KO. Right, this is a weird fight. This is a very weird fight. But this is a women's strawweight bout versus Yasmin Jauregui versus Sam Hughes. We're going to start with Sam Hughes here. 31 years old, 5'5", 8 wins and 5 losses. Hughes is a mid to low level female strawweight. Making her UFC debut in 2020, it has been a bumpy road with a few ups and downs. Her striking is bad, but her cardio, wrestling and top game has led her for a few wins at the UFC level. Fighting out of Fortis MMA, she is good at following a game plan set by the masterful coach in Safe Saud. We'll go to Yasmin Jauregui, 24 years old, 5'3", 10 wins and 1 loss, fighting out of Mexico. Yasmin is a young Mexican women's prospect with good potential. She is a powerful strawweight with vicious looping combinations. Her pressure style is effective, but she leaves openings in her blitzes and has shown her bad striking defense. Getting dropped in the Estela Nunes fight and losing her last fight in 20 seconds against the powerful Gomes. I'm picking Yasmin in this fight, but I do not like her at this price. The only value here is at Hughes at nearly 6-1 odds, but I am not betting this fight. I'm staying well away from it. Fuck knows what's going to happen. Alright, next fight of the night, we have a bantamweight bout between Ricky Turcios and Raul Rosas Jr. We're going to start with Ricky here. He's 30 years old, 5'8", 12 wins and 3 losses. Ricky is a chaotic fighter that uses very odd techniques in his striking and grappling. He's constantly switching stances and uses unorthodox striking to get the fight to the grappling, where he can be very dangerous and tricky. His offensive and defensive boxing is very poor, but his craziness can find openings to land on the feet. Alright, we got Raul Rosas Jr. 19 years old, 5'9", 8 wins and 1 losses, fighting out of 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu, Las Vegas. Rosas is a young 19-year-old BJJ prospect with nasty scrambles, submissions, and grappling pressure. He won his Contender Series fight in an entertaining decision with some crazy scrambles, but he's shown his age and inexperience in that fight, where he made a lot of mistakes giving up positions and not staying composed. He looked impressive in his UFC debut against Jay Perrin, where he ragdolled Perrin and strangled him in the first round. Then going into his next fight, his inexperience showed again, where he emptied the tank in the first round against the tough, durable Christian Rodriguez, who survived the first round onslaught and dominated round 2 and 3 to get the unanimous decision over the undefeated Rosas. Rosas came back strong in his next fight, opened up his hands and found the power in his left hook from southpaw, which dropped Terrence Mitchell, and Rosas got the ground and pound first round finish. I'm picking Rosas Jr. in this fight to win by first or second round submission. I believe Ricky will engage in the grappling, and with Rosas' slick transitions, he'll get to the back and strangle him. Alright, next fight of the night, we have a lightweight bout between Francisco Prado versus Daniel Zellhuber. We're going to start with Zellhuber on this one. 24 years old, 6'1", 14 wins and 1 losses to the decision. He's a Mexican, fighting out of Extreme Couture. Some great teammates, great camp down there. Daniel Zellhuber is a big lightweight with a 77-inch reach. He does use his reach well with tip kicks down the middle and a variety of striking tools and techniques. He's a BJJ black belt with good takedown defense. After winning his Contender Series fight, he has looked good in the UFC level with only 1 loss out of his 3 fights and a nasty anaconda choke of Garos in his last fight. I fucking butchered that name, but move on. Francisco Prado, 21 years old, 5'10", 12 wins and 1 losses, fighting out Argentina with the Goat Shed Academy. Prado is a powerful, plodding striker with good fakes and movement out of the orthodox stance. He looks for big hooks and power boxing inside and throws spinning and roundhouse kicks at distance. He's constantly looking for counters with his slips, weaves and rolls. Prado is a very durable fighter, with his only loss coming from Malarkey in his UFC debut in Perth, Australia, which I was there, and that atmosphere in that arena was absolutely amazing. I loved it. He comes back in his second UFC fight, where he got the first round ground and pound finish of Azaitar, the 11-1 Azaitar. Had that nasty spinning elbow and dropped him and pounded him out. Awesome. I'm picking Prado in this fight. I think he could use his footwork, boxing skills to get in the red zone and spark Zellhuber on the feet. I think this betting line is way off, and there's a lot of value on Prado money line and Prado inside the distance. Alright, coming to the co-main event of the evening. We have a rematch. Brian Ortega versus Yair Rodriguez. We're going to start off with Yair here. 31 years old, 5'11", 19 wins and 4 losses, fighting out Mexico. Yair is a very crafty MMA striker and the former interim featherweight UFC champion. His boxing is very clean, but it's his kicking game that makes him unique and very dangerous in the cage. His movement and kicks are elite, and he finds the body and head with accuracy. He backs his striking game with great BJJ. His long legs and arms allow him to lock up submissions and finish them with ease. Yair showed a masterclass against the veteran Josh Emmett in Perth, Australia, where he battered him on the feet and finished with a nasty triangle submission in the second round. Yair went on to lose his next fight against the featherweight GOAT, Alexander Volkanovski, where Volk came with a perfect game plan and showed off his elite striking and wrestling pressure. Right, we got Brian T-City Ortega, 32 years old, 5'9", 15-3 with the one non-contest. Brian Ortega is a fast, durable, mixed martial artist with deadly submission game that can end the fight in an instant. Ortega doesn't have powerful striking, but he puts out a lot of output which can wear down his opponents and get the fight into the clinching and grappling where he excels. I'm not a BJJ expert, but I'd say Ortega has the best guillotine choke in the UFC. Once he gets on the neck, the fight is usually over, apart from Volk. He's a different breed though. Ortega's losses has come from the best of the best at 145 pounds, being Volkanovski, Holloway, and the freak injury in the first Yair fight. I'm picking Ortega to win this fight at low confidence. He was having a lot of success in the first fight using his punches to enter the clinch. Ortega is a tough dude and very hard to put away. I think the wrestling and BJJ threat will be too much for Yair, and I see Ortega finding a submission or winning a close 3-2 decision where he wins a lot of the minutes in grappling. Main event of the evening. We have a flyweight bout between Brandon Moreno and Brandon Royval, Battle of the Brandons. We're going to start off with Brandon Royval. 31 years old, 5'7", and 15-7. He's fighting out of Factory X, United States of America. Brandon Royval is a crazy brawler at flyweight. He throws a lot of output and loads up on big, powerful strikes. Royval is a black belt in BJJ and is crafty MMA submission threat. What I've seen with Royval's striking is that he's very active and pressures, but he lacks in technique and defensive awareness. Even though he is dangerous off his back, he has bad takedown defense and can get taken down and controlled by the better wrestlers and grapplers. Royval is very dangerous in all his fights, whether it be in the striking or grappling. You can never count him out. Alright, we have Brandon Moreno, the Assassin Baby. 30 years old, 5'7", 21-7 with 2 draws, fighting out of Fortis MMA. Moreno is one of my favorite UFC fighters with a very entertaining style. He's got a very herky-jerky, robot-like striking style. He moves his feet and head very well in his fights, and is an excellent puncher and kicker from range and inside the pocket. Moreno's wrestling and grappling is at the elite level. He uses great scrambles and rolls to stay safe and end up in better positions. He has great decision making and fight IQ to pick apart his opponents and dictate where the fight goes. He backs up his well-rounded skill set with insane gas tank, durability, and 5-round cardio. His dominance in the division and his 4 fights against Figueiredo showed his world-class MMA game. I'm picking Moreno to win this fight with high confidence. I do believe he is the second best fighter in this division, just behind the champion Pantoja. Moreno will be the better fight everywhere in this fight, and I do not see his chin failing from any of Royval's crazy strikes or submissions. I've gone Moreno for the win, baby. Let's go. Alright guys, that was my full card breakdown, first YouTube video. Let me know how it goes, any audio issues or anything. I'm very new to this, so leave a like or a sub if you enjoyed, if you want more, and all the best. Thank you.